What's going on, everybody? Welcome into episode 58 of JD's Empire Sports Talk. Of course, JD here with you once again. Today will be a just JD episode for the time being. CT may come and help out a little bit at the end in terms of baseball, but we'll have to move some segments around. But besides that, yeah, no biggie tonight. He's doing well. It's just he has other things to take care of today, and he'll be back next week. The day for next week will be determined in a little bit, like a few days. But yeah, we'll get this one started. Episode 58. Um, excuse me, but a very action-packed episode to me is because we got the NFL preseason's now underway, and listen, we're gonna talk about it. I know it's only one game for all day. Some teams play two, but every team has now played at least one game, and listen, we're gonna dive into it because there's guys that are injured right now. There's guys that should be. I'm gonna get into it in a little bit. I don't want to spoil it, but should get more recognition than what they've gotten so far. And maybe it seems to me that it's more of a personal issue with a group than maybe that particular person that's on the team and in the locker room and stuff like that, and a lot of other stuff. And then we'll break up how you doing into two different uh, parts today, just because I want to talk about the Jets. The Jets look good. I know I'm not reading too much into it. I told you guys this for a number of weeks now that I'm not reading anything deeper than than what's on the surface with this team because I don't expect them to do anything. But I did see a few different things that they did just the other day that they haven't done in a while. I could say that. So that impressed me a little bit. And it's things that have should have been done for a long time, but they weren't, and it is what it is. Those times have passed. But yeah, we'll break up how you doing into two parts, just because I want to talk about the Jets, which was the positive out of the two, and the Mets. I'm probably going to rip into a little bit. As the show goes on, Mets aren't playing today, but as the show goes on, I'll probably get more and more, like upset about what the Mets have done lately because they have looked completely awful for a long period of time. But the last 12 games is embarrassing, if you want to say the least. I really don't even think they even care anymore. It seems like they don't care, or the body language is that way. Some guys just feel like I don't know. I don't know what it is, but we'll get into that a little later. We'll also get into college ball because college ball starting in a week from this Saturday. It would be week zero, but then the other games will be coming week after week after week after that. But yeah, the AP poll is officially out. So something me and Biggie went over last week was the coaches poll. It is a little different than what the AP poll put out, and of course, up until I would say I believe it's November. Yeah, the November is when they start going into the CFP stuff. But up until then, the AP poll is what you go by, and it's something to watch out for. And then something that just caught my eye. I apologize for this. On the bottom ticker, it is episode 58. I know I said it before, but if those tuning in now, I forgot to change that. My apologies. But it is episode 58 for today, and then we'll probably actually do one at the end of the week. Maybe not a full blown episode, but depending on what the Jets do, maybe Sunday give a little a wrap up since episode 50, either 59 or 60, will start a little later, than usual. Um, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with the Jets, and if the Mets keep upsetting me, I may be putting a lot more videos out there than just the ones that are the ones that are going to be going on right now. But we'll see what happens with that. But we will start with the NFL because it's a lot going on and it's a lot to talk about. Because Matthew Stafford, somebody that I'm a big fan of, I really like his game a lot, and he's hurt. To what extent we don't really know yet, but it seems like the Rams aren't gonna, just volunteer information if they don't have to right now, which they don't. And he didn't practice today. Yesterday he threw, they said, about 70, I believe 70 passes, around that, 60 to 70 passes. He felt okay, and then today he didn't practice, and today he was also supposed to practice. So that's a little concerning that he was supposed to go today and he didn't, and not even nothing. Like, I know today he was not supposed to be in like team drills, but individual drills, I guess, has still built him back up, and he wasn't able to do that. That's something to keep an eye on. And back soreness is what is been the cause of injury, which is like a disc as well, disc problem in the back, which for older quarterbacks that can happen. You know, all the hits that he's taken, he's gotten beat up, to say the least, in his career. Beaten up is an understatement of what Stafford has went through in his career, and the fact that he still plays is to me is pretty impressive. Just of what like I said, of what he's gone through. But let's keep an eye on that, because this is a Rams team. I know last week I talked about how I expect them to win the division, but if you take Stafford out of the equation, that changes a whole lot of people's minds, especially mine. Because listen, I know Jimmy G is there and they have guys or whatever. The team is still good. Stafford, it can be a very, very important loss, and we know that. We've seen he's been with the Rams for a number of years now, and there's been, I forget exactly what year it was, but there was one when when Baker played like a game for them and then left, or they he didn't know they signed him literally for a game. That year, Stafford was very, very banged up, and they had a rough season. And you don't want that for the Rams, because this is the year. Listen, last year was kind of a reset for them in terms of how they've structured their team to get to the certain point they got to, and now he's not there. Man, it kind of hurts them, because they look like after last year they were going in the right direction. They made the divisional round, almost beat the Eagles. Like, they were the closest team to taking down the Super Bowl champs, which shows you how close exactly they were. And it's kind of tough to explain, but Stafford not being there affects not only Nakua, affects Devontae, affects the run game. Blake Corum, of course, Williams. That's a lot of guys that get affected by that, and it changes a whole group. And they gotta hope and pray that he can come back and be ready, because you don't even want him. Even though he's missing this time, this missing practice is a lot. Like, people don't see missing practice as a problem, but it definitely can be. But then having Stafford not in the fold for possibly regular season. I'm not saying that, but you never know. The more practice he misses and stuff like that, and then it gets into the season, and they're like, "Oh, he missed 3 weeks. Oh, now he missed 5 weeks. That's a lot. That is a lot of football to miss, and you don't want that." But for the Rams, they hopefully it's a little minor thing. It can get fixed, with a little bit of rest, and he comes back, has some time to practice, and then he'll be ready for the regular season, because they need him. They really need him, especially if they want to have those big goals that seems like they do have, just because they went out there and got Devontae and stuff like that. Seems like they have the big goals to go out there and try to do it. So they need it. They really need him available. But let's go into how you're doing part one here with the Jets. So listen, the Jets played the Packers on Saturday night. They won by a lot of points. They scored over 30. I believe it was 31 to 10, 31-17, something like that. I can actually double check that right now, but I think it was 31 to 10. They look great. From first possession all the way to last, there was no 30 to 10. I apologize. 30 to 10, but there was no let up in their game. Sometimes it's like past years we've seen. I know it's preseason, but it's things that you have to watch out. You have to watch, because there's habits that get created in the preseason that you can't escape. And they came out, first drive, offense was out there. They scored a touchdown. Whoa, okay, that looks pretty good. They were without John Simpson, so the O line was not whole, but they still played great. They held up very well. Titman slid over to left guard. I don't like that, but for the game, he had to. Nothing really you can do about that. But Titman was at left guard. He expect him to be at center. Simpson would be at left guard, but Myers played center. He did okay. But overall, the O line looked terrific. The tackles look really, really good. Membu and Fashanu look very, very comfortable and reliable. I know it was only a drive for them, but it was an extended drive, and they look really, really good. Fields, I know it was only preseason. The only thing I would say with him that I would love to see him do more of is get it a little more down the field, but he didn't have to do that drive, and I'm sure they didn't want to unleash an entire playbook. You know what I mean? Now that there's no reason for that. So I like what I saw though. The one thing I do want to talk about in particular was OC Tanner Engstrand. He was getting those plays into the huddle, into Fields' headset like this. He was ready. He was on the money with that. And this is something. If you're a Jets fan and or if even if you just watch Jet games in general, this is a team that has struggled for I don't even know a very long time at getting the play from the OC to the quarterback to the players to get to the line and snap the ball. They have a very hard time doing that. I know last year they in the 17 games they played, I could say half of those they used timeouts to avoid that, and that's a problem. You're using timeouts at opportunities or times that you don't want to do that, which is not good. There's a lot of issues that come with using timeouts on the offensive side of the ball when you don't have to. But the other night they avoided it. They didn't have to get into it at all. The play calls, like I said, were very, very quick and crisp, and that's something they need to carry into the regular season. They can't have getting to the. They can't afford to get to the line 7, 8 seconds left and then snap the ball and go. They can't. You can't do that. Then you're going down to 2 seconds, 1 second, and then you got to rush. Now with this, they were able. I believe they were at the line with like 15, 16 seconds left. That's double the time they had last year. That'll feel like an eternity to some of those players, what they had to deal with, and very, very pleased by that. Like I said, the only one drive with the ones offensive line, but they look good. They look very, very comfortable. Something else seemed like Aaron Glenn had a feel for the game. I know he's a player and he's coached, but being head coach is a totally different beast. Seemed like he was very much in control, pacing up and down the sideline when he had to. He did have to use one timeout in the second half on offense, and he got down there. He got down there, sprinted down there, called the timeout, avoided a penalty. But it seemed like he was just very, very relaxed. Didn't seem like there was chaos going on, guys running off the field late, guys running on the field. There was one instance I remember when that happened. It was a third. It was either a third down or a Packers punt that became a huge mess, but they avoided it. They were able to they were able to get through that, and they didn't have any penalties in terms of that, which is big. Just had to get a water break there, guys. It's kind of tough when you have just by yourself today. But like I was saying, the penalties that they used to commit for too many guys on the field using timeouts, like I said, Glenn had a very good feel for that, and we're not overreacting. We're just saying these are. I'm just going with these are the things that impressed me. That's how I want to take it. I'm not saying oh they're gonna win more games than I thought. Now I know I still have my expectations for this team, which is very low, but I still think it's very much worth it to talk about it because listen, you got to give sometimes when credit's due, you got to give it. The penalties are still an issue, though. They had 11 or 12 penalties, and some of them were foolish. Some of them, yeah, you can't do anything about it. Sauce had a PI call on him that I did not agree with. He's a guy that plays and uses his length to his advantage. So when he's gonna get a certain arm out there on a guy, it's gonna look like a penalty, but it's not. Like that's the thing. They got to stop. Try the refs like anticipate it. You got to stop anticipating. But there was other penalties. Clemens, I know, was in the mix. I know that was an offsetting penalty, but still, it's stupid. This is a guy that does not learn his lesson. I personally hope he's cut. I don't see the use in him. He just causes problems for no reason, and that's exactly what happened. Play was over. He tried to still get more reaction out of the guy, and he did. He did, and he got into it was a pushing match. There's no reason for that. The play is over. Move on. Like this is the thing with him. And the thing I do like was that they were held accountable for it. Clemens did something stupid. He got taken right out of the game. He was out for a few plays, but Glenn was like, "No, you're not. We're not doing this. We're not making stupid penalties, and we're not staying on the field for that. If we're gonna commit stupid penalties, you're out. You got to sit, and that's just the way it has to be. And that's something like I was saying before about the theme of yeah, you're doing it now. You have to carry that into the regular season. You have to say, yeah, this guy is dumb. You're doing stupid stuff. All right. Well, for Clemens' sake, I hope he's not on the team because he has no value. But even if it's anybody else, I don't care who it is. You're gonna do some dumb stuff like that. You have to sit because we're not gonna go out there and risk it. You can't do it. You cannot risk dumb penalties just because you want to just mess around and think you're funny or you're getting angry quickly. No, you can't do it. But I know it's only like I said, only one game. The overall takeaway that I can take away from the game was they were prepared. They were prepared to play a football game. The way they walked out of the locker room, the scheme, like I said, guys knowing their role. You're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing that, you're doing that. Whatever you want to say. That seemed like they were a team that was very, very prepared. When you talk to when it seems like players were talked to, they were ready for that. They were ready. Yeah, okay, I know I'm going in this part of the game, I'm doing this. I'm going in this part of the game, I'm doing that. That's something that you can say, oh, I don't think this last year, I don't think this guy even knew he was getting this role. I don't think this guy knew he was doing this. I don't think he knew he was doing that. That's big, being prepared. And these are things that the good teams, they make it look easy. And I'm not saying it should be easy, but it should be a lot easier than what they put out and what they did before this. What they did, previous years. It seemed like there was rocket science to try to figure out how to get guys on and off the field. That can't happen. It can never happen. Shouldn't happen. And it's good to see that they cleaned up a lot of the mistakes they made. Some other NFL news we got here, an alert that I wanted to provide you guys with here for the show tonight was CT will be on at 7:45, so under 30 minutes away from CT. So we'll keep going until he gets here, and then we'll talk a ton of baseball with CT because our teams stink, and they have stunk for a decent amount of time. So we both need to get that off our chest, and then yeah, we'll probably also keep it around for college football because college football, really, like I said, released the AP poll. I know he's a Penn State fan, so I would like to bust his chops a little bit from what I feel that they I have been doing because I feel like Penn State is I don't want to get into it now, but I feel like they're ranked a little higher than they should be. But yeah, other NFL news: Landon Dickerson. So of course, Eagles um, offensive lineman Landon Dickerson avoids the worst. So he did get hurt yesterday and it seemed like it was going to be a really, really gruesome injury. I know they carted him off the practice field because they did play um, Thursday or Friday. I think it was Thursday, and then they practiced last night. They did cart him off the field, but he's expected to return for the first game. He's going to undergo a meniscus injury, which those are tricky, but he's going under a minor one, a minor procedure. So he avoided a major problem, which is very, very good to see that that's the case because Dickerson is very important to the Eagles squad as a whole. Their whole offensive line is very, very important, but I feel like he's the guy that gets them to go. Like, like, all right, we got Dickerson. This is how the units. He's like completes the unit. He brings everybody together and gets them playing good football. So we'll see how he even when he comes back how he looks. But they did avoid disaster because it seemed like the news that was coming out was that it wasn't going to look too good and wasn't going to end well. But it is going to go. Of course, not the best, but positive in the positive direction. And then Dolphins injury woes continue. They lost Alexander Madison for the season, so he would have been a reserve running back, but still another injury to the Dolphins. I believe they've suffered now 5 or 6 major injuries already to the guys on their team, which is insane. Devon Achin is a guy that is going to be very, very good for them, but they don't have much depth behind that. And Madison was supposed to be a guy that could provide depth for them, and he's now gone. So we got to see what the Dolphins do, and they I don't I said it last week that they are one of those teams. If you had to think about a few teams in the NFL that have a very very good opportunity, not a good opportunity in the sense of positive, but a good opportunity of having a blow up like just completely awful season, I would say that the Dolphins are very very much up there just because they've lost so many guys to injury. Seems like that they're bound to lose Tua at some point. Coaching is not great. They seems like they want to enjoy like having fun more than like. Yeah, listen, you can have fun. I love that. I love enjoying playing the sport. But you have to have time where you lock in and do stuff, and they don't do that at all. So that's something they need to They need to figure it out in Miami because they, like I said, they are very, very, very likely of being one of those teams that will absolutely like just get blow it up in their face, and they have a really, 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 really rough season. So we'll keep an eye on the Dolphins. And then the last bit of NFL news I want to talk about was my top performers from Week One preseason, and I love talking about quarterbacks, so I'm going to stick with quarterbacks as a whole, but top three. We have one solo guy, two guys from the same game, both quarterbacks, and then an overall quarterback room because I really liked how how a particular team played as a whole in their quarterback rooms. But we'll start with Shador Sanders, a guy that has that's like what I wanted to talk about before. A guy that just has not gotten any support from the team he plays for. Really, I know the other day they showed a video of. I mean, Deshaun Watson's out of the equation, but he was on the sideline, with the team. He looked miserable after Shador threw a touchdown. Dylan Gabriel didn't look particularly happy. Joe Flacco did, yeah, because he's a starter. And then Kenny Pickett was nowhere to be found. Tommy Reese looked like he was a little, not really. I wouldn't say upset, but like, oh, okay, so this guy played good. Now we have to answer questions because that's the thing with some of these coaches. They don't want to answer the questions of, oh, well, this guy looked good. Why is he still this? Why is he still that? And the Browns are definitely gonna have to start answering questions. If he, I know guys, it's only preseason, but I feel it is necessary to talk about. Shador, fourth string on the roster, goes out there, starts the game, those 2 touchdowns, 150 something yards, looked really, really, really good. Looked like he was in control, looked very comfortable, looked like somebody that can still play even though his dad is not a coach, which I know is very was a very, very hot topic, and I really don't agree with that because I feel like he's taken away from the kids or the guy's talent of questioning if he could still play quality football without his dad being present, on the sideline. I think it's a little, a little bit of a slap in the face, but Shador, uh, he's proven the haters wrong, and I love that because I understand what he goes through. I understand, not to that magnitude, but I've been in those shoes a little bit where people say, "Oh, you're only good because of this. You're only this because your dad's a coach, or you're only that because of this." And Shador has been, he's been feeling that since draft day, and even before that when he was in school. But particularly now, if you want to talk about him as a pro, got pushed down to the fifth round. I would say because they didn't like his dad and they didn't like his attitude. But I feel if you put him in the right system, that attitude can work because he's confident. And that's what you want from a quarterback. You want your quarterback to be a confident guy. Because if you look at some teams, I know my Jets, Zach Wilson was the last guy to have any confidence. And you can tell what that did to a team because they know that guy looks scared under center. We have no chance. And that's how it works. The NFL is like that. If your quarterback looks scared or, doesn't have that good look in his eyes, not going to go well. It's really not going to go well. And Shador has that. He has that. He has that confidence. Like, oh yeah, all right, you guys think this about me? I'm going to go out there and show you why I am good. And I'm glad he did that. So that was my number one performer of the week. And then the Giants quarterback room, especially Jackson Dart, he played really, really good. He had 154 yards and a touchdown in his limited amount of time. They got all four of their quarterbacks in there. I know Russ started the game. He went 6 or 7 for 28 yards, so that's nothing to really talk about. But then Jameis looked okay in his time. Tommy Cutlets, I know he's the fourth string, but he looked pretty good in his time playing in the fourth quarter. And Dart's another guy. You can tell he got that confidence to him. Be like, oh yeah, you guys, you guys think this? I'm gonna go out there and prove you wrong. So it's two guys that have that confidence. But the Giants, I can say, the Giants believe in him. That I cannot say the Browns believe in Shador. I don't think that's the case at all. The Giants believe in Dart, and they really want him to be something really, really special. So I feel that's why they really don't want to start him right away, even if he may look the part. They don't want to throw him into the what they believe the fire because that schedule is really really brutal. They rather go to Russ. Okay, Russ, here we go. Let's see what you got. And Dart was also the second quarterback. He was after Russ into the game. That's something to keep an eye on. So I know Dart has been third string on the depth chart for the most part, but you never know. Oh, okay. Dart's coming in second in the game. That could be what his role is. True backup. Like Russ gets hurt, he doesn't play good. Dart, you're going in. I could very easily see that happen. And I do expect Dart to get some starts by the end of the season. I think that he'll earn it, and he'll also the Giants are going to want to see it, especially if Dable is in the they don't have a good record particularly early, he's gonna get fired. So they want him to they're gonna want him to win some games. And then I can also see it the other way where they're not having a good season, and the front office wants to see what they have in Dart, and then possibly bring in a new coach. The Giants can go a lot of different directions, but it seems like they got a talented player there. So yeah, I will say that Shador and Jackson Dart definitely up there in the first two. And overall, like I said, um, overall Giants quarterback situation. But yeah, I think that's going to be the case. We'll see what happens. And then number three, the Joe Burrow Tanner McKee showdown. I put Joe Burrow doesn't really particularly play in preseason games. The Bengals have not started good in the last, I would say, 4 or 5 seasons with Burrow and Zach Taylor. So I think they want to start doing some things differently. That was the case. They did do that differently. Joe Burrow came in, threw 2 touchdowns in his limited amount of playing time, one to Jamar Chase, so they were on the same page already. Tanner McKee, 252 yards, 2 touchdowns. He looks the part, man. I know he's not going to have really a future at starting for the Eagles, at least for a long time. But I can very, very easily see McKee starting for a team that can look for a quarterback maybe in a year or two, because he played at the end of the season last year, a game or two, and he looked really, really good. Even when he gets in those end of games, he looks pretty good. And in the preseason last year, now started this game, looked great in the preseason. And remember, the Eagles traded Kenny Pickett away because they feel that Tanner McKee is somebody that can be something for them in the future as a backup, and it seems like that's the case. McKee has gotten and improved every year. This is a guy out of Stanford that people didn't really think much of. They thought he was going to be somebody that um, yeah, he'll be a developmental guy. I don't see much coming out of him, but he's looked good. Looked good for a few years now, and I feel like that could be something that I don't see it happening with the Eagles, of course. But another team could say, you know what, we're going to give this guy a chance. We're going to come in. We're going to trade for him, and we're going to go from there. And then, yeah, that's it for the NFL. I feel that was a good NFL talk about, Stafford, the Jets, and just overall NFL news. So we got about 18 minutes before CT comes in, but we'll talk some NBA now, and then we'll see what we will do right before that. But NBA opening night has been announced, which I know is in October, but still worth talking about, of course. Opening night has been announced. Houston Rockets will face off against the defending champs, Oklahoma City Thunder. The Rockets, we talked about this numerous episodes from the first one we did together, me and Biggie, up until now. We both agree that the Rockets going into the season can be one of those teams that make the Thunder think a little bit, which I know that not a lot of teams really could say, yeah, we're going to give the Thunder a run for their money. I could definitely see the Rockets doing that. I said they needed somebody that can go in there and get a bucket whenever. KD is a guy that can go in there and get a bucket whenever. He's that kind of guy. I know he's older, and I think that fits this Houston team because they were looking for that guy that can be the guy, and that is what KD is on top of course, all the bench guys they got. The starting rotation as a whole, that's pretty good. So they got a good team over there. And then the second game will be the Golden State Warriors against the Los Angeles Lakers. This is a NBC debut part two because I know much before I was born, NBC used to be a big part of the NBA. Wasn't really anything when I maybe a little bit when I was younger, but up until I know the last 13, 14 years, this was not the case. And having that being back is pretty cool. Brings back like the old vibes of the NBA, and the Warriors take on the Lakers in the night game. The new look Luca, I guess they want to call that. I know he got a contract, but also now he's um, he's looking much more fit, which is good. I know he was playing for his home country in some tournament. I saw it was actually earlier today. I saw that, and he looked pretty good. He looks slimmed down. Looked like he's ready to go. So we'll see what the Lakers and Warriors can bring. But I expect that to be a pretty good matchup. But yeah, all Western Conference opening night. Some other NBA news we got here was in terms of scheduling, and then one other little piece to get to was Cavs versus Knicks, Spurs versus Thunder. So the Cavs versus Knicks will be the first game. Spurs versus Thunder will be the second game. So I expect it to be a 12 o'clock tip, Cavs versus Knicks, which might be the top two teams in the Eastern Conference by the time we get to that point. I could very easily see that happening. Cavs are going to be good. Knicks are going to be good. Next game probably like a 3:30, 3 o'clock thing. Maybe a little earlier than that. Spurs versus Thunder. Then the Rockets versus Lakers would be that midday, probably after dinner type of game. And then the Mavericks versus Warriors, right after dessert, I would say, kind of thing. I know I like comparing it to food, but that would probably be a after dessert type of game, matinee type of thing. And then the Timberwolves and Nuggets to round out the night. That'll be probably be a 10 o'clock, I would say, 10:30 type of game. But some matchups from last year, very very good matchups though overall. Cavs versus Knicks, like I said, Spurs should be very very much improved, and the Thunder are the Thunder. Rockets, another team we talked about, of course, which is the Lakers. Both those teams should be good. Mavericks should still be good. Warriors should still be good. Timberwolves. This is all Western Conference Christmas Day, except for the first game. So that shows how much they like the Western Conference and putting them into these meaningful meaningful games because Cavs versus Knicks is East, and the rest of those are Western Conference teams. And then the other bit of NBA news: Coach Joe Mazzulla signs multi-year extension with the Celtics, which I think was something that was going to come in the coming years. Probably happened maybe a little earlier, but Mazzulla has had a tremendous amount of success with the Celtics. I know he has a good team, so it's really doesn't have to do much work. But to win a championship, you have to do something right. And even this year, I know they didn't get where they wanted to get to, but they dealt with a ton of injuries, and they were able to still go out there and win a ton of games. Next year is going to be very interesting to see what the Celtics do, just because it's a game that it's a season that they don't have Tatum. It's another you gotta look at it. Oh, okay, we don't have Tatum. Jalen Brown, we traded some guys away. Jalen Brown is still there. Porzingis is gone. Al Horford is gone. We have some other guys gone. It's becoming a younger team. We got Simons, Drew Holiday's gone. See what Simons can do in terms of a larger role. Derek White in a larger role, which is probably going to be good for him. But see what how that if that translates to team winning, which is huge. So there's a lot to look forward and look out for as you move on. But yeah, that'll do it for NBA news. We'll slide into um, the college football AP top 25 poll. The first thing I want to do is chalk moment of the week, which is to me that Penn State is ranked so up there. Like it's crazy to me, and I don't really particularly understand it. That I listen, they had a good year last year, but they did lose in the playoffs, and it's a lot to unpack. But listen, come on, this has gotta it's gotta come to an end. That this team, you know what they're gonna do. Listen, they made the playoff because all those teams had the ability to do so. But then they got to the playoff. They did win a game because they should have, and then they didn't do anything after that. So that this is what I'm saying. Like I don't understand why every single year they get this, they get that, and then it doesn't do anything. Like they don't go anywhere with it. And the fact that they're ranked ahead of Ohio State is crazy. I think that is crazy. That's a chalk moment to me. How do you say that the defending champs? Listen, I know every year in college is not the same. I understand that. But how can you say that the defending champs are under Penn State? Not now. They do play each other, so Penn State beat them. Yeah, hats off to them. I could see it. I could say, okay, then you deserve that. Penn State ahead of Ohio State. They didn't even play a game yet. Why? Why is that the case? I really do not understand that. I don't understand. Like, what is up? What is up with this? These people, like, they sit down and say this, they say that. Why? But number one, I won't go into huge depth with this, but um, number one, the Texas Longhorns, they have a tremendous amount of hype, rightfully so. But they probably one of the most preseason hype teams I have seen in a very, very long time. And They they they're worth it. They're worth the price of admission, if you want to say like how people like saying that. They are a very very good team. Arch Manning is the quarterback. They have a very good coach. They have a talented just squad in general, and they got a very tough test, of course, week one. So we'll see what they're made of. But Texas number one, Penn State, like my chalk moment. Penn State's number two, Ohio State number three, and Ohio State matches up against Texas. So that's the big matchup. Unfortunately, it's not during the night. It is at 12 o'clock the first week of the season, but still, people are going to be locked in for that game. Texas at Ohio State. Clemson, number four. which is another one. I know they're getting a ton of preseason hype. Number 4 is crazy. Maybe I would say, all right, 10, 11, I can understand that. Number 4, Clemson. Number 4, ACC. ACC is one of the worst conferences right now. Don't agree with that one. Georgia, number 5. Georgia's always solid. Literally does not matter who's on their roster. They produce NFL guys. They produce extremely, extremely quality college football players in general. I will see what Georgia's made of, but I expect them to be pretty good. My Notre Dame Fighting Irish at number 6. I like that to start the season. I feel like, yeah, I mean, I know they made the championship last year. Maybe could have gotten a little more recognition than they did. I don't know. But it is what it is with that. But they're number 6. Oregon, number 7, who did get one first place vote. So go back on that. Texas got 25 first place votes. Penn State got 23. So Penn State was very, very close to starting the season number 1. Ohio State had 11 first place votes. Clemson with 4. Georgia with 1. Oregon with 1. Number 8 is Alabama. Number 9, LSU. Number 10, Miami, which is the U. And then number 11, Arizona State. Number 12, Illinois. Number 13, South Carolina. Number 14, Michigan. Number 15, Florida. And then you got number 16, SMU. Number 17, Kansas State. Number 18, Oklahoma. Number 19, Texas A&M. Number 20, Indiana, the Hoosiers. Number 21, Ole Miss. Number 22, Iowa State. Number 23, Texas Tech. Number 24, Tennessee. And number 25, Boise State. So after that, like I said, with Oregon at being at number 7. Alabama at number 8 is a little surprising, but not really. They always get that, that great, great recognition because it is Alabama, but they're definitely not the same program and team that they were over the past few years. You saw it last year. Number 9, LSU, like we said, they listen. They have one of the most talented rosters in the entire country, but I don't understand. I really don't understand why they never can put it all together, like a whole package. So there'll probably be another team that slips out of it at some point. Miami. That's gonna be a very, very entertaining week 1 game as well. Notre Dame versus Miami, 2 top 10 teams. Miami number 10 with Carson Beck as quarterback now, so we'll see what happens now that they're going from Cam Ward to Carson Beck. Carson Beck was also injured, so there's a lot to take in with that. And also, yeah, LSU and Clemson, so another top 10. So, like I said last week, 3 top 10 matchups is big. This year, at least for the preseason, I could put this opinion out there. I feel that there's a very big separation between the top 10 teams and everybody else. I don't know why I have that feeling this year. I know last year we thought that there were so many good teams. I do not feel that way. Right now, I feel like there's a top 10 and then there's everybody else, but that can very easily change. Arizona State, number 11. Yeah, they were a good team last year, but they're number 11 right now to start the season. I don't see it. Illinois, another team that people really, really like to do something this year. South Carolina, SEC. That's another thing. SEC has 10 teams now in the right now to start at least to start the season. 10 teams in the ranking, so they're taking up a lot of the rankings. Not Penn State, Big Ten as well. They got Penn State, Ohio State. They got Oregon. Now Oregon, if you have to remember from last year, they're in the Big Ten. They got Illinois. They have Michigan, which is 5 right there. Indiana, so that's 6. They have some teams in there. Big 12 has some, of course, as well. That's a team I like. I like Iowa State a lot. I'm not saying they're gonna they're gonna go out there and go absolutely nuts, but Iowa State can definitely be a team that I could see sneaking into that playoff. And they almost did it last year. And they have a lot of returning players. I really like the coaching staff. Quarterback is in place. That's a big thing with these teams in these programs. Quarterbacks in place, and then um, Michigan number 14. They have a very, very, very hyped up quarterback, but we'll see. He's a freshman, so we'll see what they can do. SMU was a playoff team last year, but I don't expect them to do the same. Oklahoma has a lot of hype to them. I know a few Oklahoma fans, and they feel like they can finally get their shot at a something happening to them in the SEC because that was very, very rough debut to the SEC last year for Oklahoma, who did deal with a ton of quarterback problems and injuries and all stuff going on with them. But yeah, the season starts August 23rd, so week 0 will be August 23rd. I don't know if there's any. I know there is an Ireland game, so that's another thing. I know that was a lot of success last year. I remember watching all like the content that was going on down there, and it looked very very fun in the play. And I remember that game was pretty good. And then just on top of just hoping for the another great season last year in college ball, though college football was a very, very great, entertaining season from start to finish. So we have to hope that that happens once again, and then we'll see. We'll see what teams can rise to the top. And I'm sure right now in these rankings, there's teams that can come out of nowhere and shock people. There's teams that can be up in the top 5, top 10 that do absolutely nothing. I said that. Just because these rankings are out there and put on the page does not mean that that's exactly what the case is. There's a lot more to the rankings than just what is set on that screen right now. And then some other teams. Before we bring CT in, I just want to wrap this one up here for the top 25. Just teams receiving votes: BYU, Utah, Baylor, Louisville, USC. USC has a potential to shock some people. I feel this year. I know it's always Lincoln Riley recruits offense has no defense, but you never know what he can do. Georgia Tech in there with some votes. Missouri, Tulane, Nebraska. Dylan Raiola, I am a huge fan of him. If anybody remembers from the beginning of when I started doing this show and on my other show, when I did that, I was a huge fan of him. UNLV, Toledo, Auburn, James Madison's in the rankings. Memphis, Florida State somehow in the rankings. Don't know how that's the case after the monstrosity of a season they had last year. Duke, Navy, Liberty, Iowa, TCU, Pitt, Army, Louisiana, and Colorado would have vote. We'll see what happens with them. Listen, I'm not expecting them to be in the rankings really that much this year, but I do expect them to have a solid season for their standards. See where the quarterback is for them, because right now they have a big quarterback battle supposedly going on. So we'll see what happens with the freshmen they brought in, and they brought in a big transfer. So we'll see what the Buffaloes do. But yeah, like I said, it's going to be a really really good season. I'm very excited, and I do feel that there's a little bit of a drop off from top 10 down, which I didn't think was the case last year. I feel like those teams at the top right now uh, are going to do something for themselves nice and early. And these top 10 teams, it's gonna switch around because there's three huge matchups in week one, which is huge. And we're going to be talking about this as we go, leading up to the season. Next week and the week after that, we're gonna be diving into this more and more in depth for sure. But with that being said, let's bring in Mister CT the Hammer. Let's see if we can get this going here. Let's add CT to the stage. There he is. CT, welcome in, my
What's
guy.
up?
How we doing, CT?
I'm doing great. How are you, JD?
I'm doing good. Our teams aren't doing too great, but before we get
No.
into, we'll talk some baseball as a whole because I feel like there's basically our teams are the center of attention right now in terms of the league, but there's other things to talk about. But I know you're a big college football fan. I probably should have had you come on and talk about that with me as well. Um, I don't know if you heard about my what I said about Penn State. If you didn't, all right, let's keep it that way. But what I
I
want to
didn't
talk
yet.
about with you was, do you have any thoughts on the AP rankings? Because I know last week the coaches poll came out. Me and Biggie went over that, but of course the AP poll is the poll that everybody looks for until the CFP poll comes out later in the season. Is there
Mhm.
anything in particular that you liked from the AP poll besides Penn State? Because I know you are a Penn State guy, so you're very happy about where they are right now. I'm not, but um, any thoughts on the rankings? And one thing I do want to ask, because I said this a few times, was I feel like to start this season, the top 10 is up here, and everybody else, I even at 11, I feel like is low. I feel like last year everybody was really close. I feel like
Mhm.
to go into this season that's not the case. I feel like there's a big drop off from 10 to 11. Do you think that's the case? You could start with that, and then you could just give me your thoughts on the rankings as a whole.
I say there's a little bit of a drop off from the top 10, but I like South Carolina and Florida. They can potentially be dangerous for opponents this year
Uh
with
huh.
the acquisition. I mean, with DJ Lagway and his success last year as a freshman, and you got Sellers up in South Carolina. Those two teams are going to be problems. You go up into their environments, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with this year. So Arizona State at 11. I mean, I expect them to be pretty good. They got a really good coach, passionate. I like him a lot over there. I mean, obviously they lose Cam Scottaboo, which is a big loss, but they still got that quarterback really good. They're gonna have a really good year. and I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled for Penn State. They're gonna have a really good year. There's a lot of people that went to their training camps, expecting a lot of big things out of them. Drew Aller back. I got a lot of senior leadership there. Expecting a big year for Penn State. This is the year. This got to be the year for Penn State.
Yeah, I mean, it better be because every year they get all
Mhm.
of this attention and they don't really do like that much with it. Yeah, listen, they have
Yeah.
good years, but not to what you and everybody like that are Penn State supporters get to. But do you think that there is a drop off though from like the top 10 teams to that Arizona State type of team? Because I know, yeah, listen, Arizona State will probably still have a good year, but do
Mhm.
you think that there's a little bit of a separation at all, or no?
Yeah, this is separation overall.
Yeah,
I
right.
mean,
I was gonna say it
mhm.
feels like it feels that way.
I expect South Carolina, Florida, as I said, they're going to be really good, but I don't think they're going to win a national title or
Yeah,
ultimately
no,
make
no.
it to the semis.
I feel like those top 10 teams, which probably won't be what we end with, but still to start,
Correct.
I feel like those top 10 teams are definitely up there a little more than the other teams. And we also there could be a team that's not even on the rankings that come up there and do something. But
Hmm.
the only one other thing I forgot to say was week one, man. Week one is going to be a fireworks show. No?
Oh my God, yeah. You got the Clemson against LSU. That's going to be a really good one down at Death Valley. I mean, it's the
Yeah.
battle between the real Death Valleys, as you can say. You also got Ohio State and Texas. That's going to be a really good matchup, too.
Yeah,
Arch
and I
Manning
know
thrown under the fire.
I was gonna say, I know people were like, "Oh, the game has to start at 12 o'clock," which I understand that people are upset about that. But damn, that's the
Mhm.
first game of this, like the first true game of week one. I think everybody's gonna be locked in for that one. That's gonna
Oh,
be
absolutely. You got
Arch
two of the
Manning.
best teams in the nation.
Yeah, Arch Manning's gonna be his like now he's the guy. It's a lot to unpack there, but it's gonna be very very fun. Ohio State, of
Hmm.
course, is Ohio State. Yeah, it's going to be a very fun college season. But let's talk about what you're really on here for, which is the MLB as a whole. We'll do a few different topics, then we'll do a standings check in. Usually, I have Biggie do the American League, but I'll just take over for both, and then I'll just, after every division, I'll have you come in and just talk about what you feel, things that happen and stuff like that. But we will start with Justin Verlander, who listen, his year has not been good by any stretch of the imagination, but he did get his 3,500 strikeout, which is a pretty good number. And CT, listen, it's tough sometimes for these older guys when they decline in play. It's kind of not upsetting, but it's like, oh damn, this guy used to be elite, and now
Hmm.
he's okay. But yeah, what do you think about Verlander getting that many number of strikeouts? Pretty impressive.
I mean, it's very impressive. I mean, and he deserved it. He's had a long career. He's been fantastic. A lot of longevity. He's been an ace for the longest time ever. Justin Verlander, he's a legend. He's a legend of the game.
Oh yeah, and he has been
Even at
pitching a
40,
lot
still
better
throwing
lately.
98. It's
Yeah, I
crazy.
know it. I don't know if I was just about to bring that up. I
Not
was gonna
often, but
say,
sometimes.
yeah, I was just about to say that because when he first came back, he was really not. He was like 91, 92. It'd be like, oh,
Hmm.
this guy is really he's done. But he does run it up there when he has to, which is good to see. And then the
He
other
always
bit
had
of
that.
thing, yeah. And then the other last thing I had like main news here was Cal Raleigh. Man, this guy just does not stop hitting home runs. He hits his 45th home run of the year. CT, what is a real number this guy could get to?
I can definitely see somewhere in the 50s, maybe even 55, which
It's
is
crazy, right?
remarkable for a catcher. Yeah. All that
And
wear and tear to catch all those games and then to get up to the plate and hit those bombs is it's remarkable.
it truly is. And the fact is that he doesn't really get many total days off either, because he DHs too when he doesn't catch. So it's like,
They
wow,
need
this
it back.
guy, yeah, they need him. And that's a Mariners team. We'll get into it in a little bit when we get to the standings. But um, the Mariners are a team that I feel like they have the whole package to really get to the World Series. I feel like they can do it. They have pitching, they have the lineup now. After what they did at the deadline, they have a lot working for them, and
They got the talent.
they got it. They have the talent. They just have to put it together
They
and
just
see
got to
what
avoid
happens.
that second half collapse like they had the last couple of years.
Yeah, it seems like this year though they didn't start out the best. They haven't. They haven't played bad at all, but they haven't started out the best. But now it seems like they've really taken off when they have to, which is really, really good to see. And then other MLB news here. We got two other things before we get into the standings check-in. Byron Buxton back for the Twins. I know he's playing your Yankees right now, but he's back for the Twins after missing some time with a rib injury. The main thing about this here is Byron Buxton right now is literally or basically the only known name on this Twins roster. They really don't have many guys in terms of their lineup. They got rid of basically everybody. CT, do you think that Buxton will remain a Twin after this season? Do you think he's going to stay there? Because I know he said that he wants to, but now they got rid of everybody. So, like, well, how do you think he feels about that?
That's a tough one. I feel like the Twins should try to build around him. I mean, he's by far the best player, and he's relatively young still, even though he got the injury concerns. But I feel like you should try to build around him, see how it goes at least for the next 2 years, and see what happens. Because anytime soon, it's not like they're going to be winning the World Series by any chance. They might as
Yeah,
well just see what happens.
yeah, and I feel that the only reason why I was asking you that was because I know the Twins would love to keep him around, but he came out probably
Oh
like
yeah,
3 days before the deadline and was like, "I want to stay," and then they go out and get rid of 10 guys.
he's
It's
going to
like,
help
damn,
sell tickets for the Twins.
yeah, yeah. They have a lot of work to do, but they still haven't even been playing that terribly, even though they traded those guys, which is kind of crazy to me. Do we have an update on the Yankees now, or do you have if they're up or not?
Last time I checked, they were up 1-0.
Okay, all
Take a
right.
look. Yeah, still up
They need
1-0.
still
Shout
one
out
inning.
Cody Bellinger, home run.
All right, I was gonna say someone definitely hit a solo home run.
Yeah,
That's usually how they score their runs for the most part. But I was gonna say they need a sweep. They really do need a sweep, and I'll let you get to that in a few minutes. Hunter Green coming back Wednesday for the Reds, for a Reds team that is pushing for the playoffs right now, and now they get their man, one of their guys back. He had a 2.72 ERA and 11 starts before landing on the IL. He did hurt his groin in May, came back and then re-injured it. But CT, this is a game changer. This is like a little deadline pickup if I'm the Reds, and they're a team that they could be. Listen, I know this year they can seek into the playoffs, but in the future they are very scary.
yeah. The Reds, they're very scared. You got Miguel and Duhart too. I mean, they got good acquisitions at the trade deadline. And Riley
And that
Green is a very good starting pitcher. Very, very good.
and that starting rotation is already good, and now they get him in the mix, back in the mix.
Hmm.
Watch out for the Reds. They're a team that you do not want even getting in the postseason because we know pitching is a big time thing in the playoffs. If you have the horses, they're gonna get you to the finish line.
That's
That's
one
what
of those teams that you're fighting for a playoff spot. You don't want to play in August and September. They can be scary.
I agree. I agree 100%. And let's end off baseball here with the standings check-in. We'll start with the American League. We'll go through each division, and then I'll have you just like step in after each division, just give your thoughts on that. And now we'll start since we're starting with the AL East. What we'll do is give your thoughts on like the whole division as a whole, and then we'll have you give your Yankees what you think about your Yankees lately. But first place, we got the Blue Jays at 69 and 50, 6 and 4 in their last 10. They have been absolutely terrific at home, 38 and 19 at home. They're a 500 team on the road, so they're doing their damage at home, which shows usually what the good teams do. The good teams play terrific at home. They do what they have to do on the road, and they have successful years. Red Sox continuing their hot streak lately, 65 and 54. They're 4 games out of first, so they're making a push, man. They were some games behind. I know 4 is still a good margin to be up if you're the Blue Jays, but the Red Sox still they've been playing terrific. They're another team, 39 and 22 at home. They're doing great at home, 7 and 3 in their last 10 games. Roman Anthony looks like he's stepping in and he's becoming a confident player for that team. I know he just got an extension, but now it looks like he's becoming more and more confident. Then we get the Yanks in third place at 62 and 56, 6.5 out of first. They're 2.5 from the Red Sox. And if I believe, they're either what are they outside of the wild card now, or they're barely hanging on? Right? It's
They're
very, very
barely hanging on to the third spot.
yeah. So we'll also give that at the end after we get through both American League and National. We'll do wild card standings as well. But 6.5, they're out of first place. 3 and 7 in their last 10. They are up right now, and they have a very winnable series ahead of them. So we'll see what the Yankees can do. Rays at 57 and 62. Seems like they've fallen apart now. They're 12 out of first. They're probably a decent amount of the wild card as well. 3 and 7 in their last 10. And then the Orioles, 53 and 65. Seems like they've been hovering that 14 games under to 10 games under margin for a while now. Yeah, their season's pretty, of course, much lost at this point. They're also 3 and 7 in the last 10. But yeah, CT, take me through the American League East as a whole, and then talk about your Yankees because we have to talk about them.
Yeah, the Blue Jays overall, they're first in the AL East. They've been really, really good. I mean, even though lately they kind of cooled off a bit, but even though they're still holding on to that first place in the AL East, and then they just got a bunch of dudes in the lineup from Guerrero, especially Bo Bichette, who's leading baseball in hits, and they've been really, really good. They just grind out at bats. You know, the Red Sox, the young guys that don't know any better. I mean, they just continue to win. They just continue to win and get it done. And the Yankees, they just been awful. They just been awful ever since June. Since June 1st, they're 27 and 34, and while the White Sox are 24 and 30, they're basically playing like the White Sox, which is not good. That's how you get home. So they got to pick it up, and they got to pick it up fast.
Yeah, I am very, very uh, confused as to why. Listen, I understand you go out there, you get Devin Williams to be your closer, but at some point you got to pull the plug on it. Am I wrong? You gotta say this guy is not helping us win games. He's hurting us at this point. I mean, that last week, his last like 4 appearances, he stunk and he's blowing games. Like it's not like they don't have options either, right? CT, like
They,
they
they
got to
got
pull
a
the
whole
plug
lot
on
of
that.
options now with Bednar, and then you got Bird. Probably Bednar should be the closer now. I mean, you got Duvall too, and Luke Weaver, obviously. But yeah, they should go with other different options in the ninth inning.
Yeah, at this point too, because they listen, they're not. It's not like they're in first place and they have room for error. They got no room for error right now, and they're
Correct.
messing around with this guy. They're messing around with this guy as the closer, and it seemed like I mean, listen, he's had good parts of the season, but overall his season has not been anything to what they expected. And I probably wouldn't expect him to be back with the team next year. I don't think that's going to be the case. But I just don't understand that. Like they gotta say, okay, this guy cannot close games for us. I mean, they did it in the beginning of the year pretty much, and then they have to do it again because this is it's gonna hurt them more than anything. And then let's move to the AL Central where we actually now have two teams over 500. Something we have not said in the last about 6 weeks, but
Nice.
first place, yeah, the most poverty division in baseball seems like they're stepping up their game a little bit. But AL Central, we'll kick it off with the Tigers, who have been in first place since the first time me and Biggie had a show together, which is now 2 months in. 68 and 51. They're 5 and 5 in their last 10. Guardians at 61 and 56. Guardians, yes, they have made a huge, huge surge in their play lately. They're 6 games out. They're coming for the Tigers, but Tigers have been okay. They're holding ground, but the Guardians are 8 and 2 in their last 10. I believe they have a winning streak. Oh nope, it ended yesterday, but they did have a big winning streak leading into the White Sox series. They did drop the last game against the White Sox, but they're in the firm position to. They're right in the wild card or almost in the wild card. We'll get to that in a little bit. Royals at 58 and 60. They're 9.5 out of first, so they're 3.5 on the Guardians. Seems like the Royals they take 2 steps forward and they go 3 steps back. It's pretty much been their entire season. Seems like they can't get that momentum going. Twins 56 and 61. 11 games out of first, 2.5 from the Royals. They are 5 and 5 in their last 10. So it seems like their Twins are just, they're just holding ground to being an under 500 team. They're not really doing anything um, to get to that next level. Which I mean, they don't have anybody, the horses, to really do it now after they traded basically half their team at the deadline. And then the White Sox, 43 and 75. They're once again one of the worst teams in the league, and the 4 and 6 in their last 10. So, any thoughts on the AL Central, CT?
I mean, the Guardians are making a push like they always seem to do. So they get into the playoffs. You got Jose Ramirez. They can potentially maybe scare some teams. You know, they always got pretty good pitching overall. Obviously, you got the Tigers, who they have not been a fluke this year. They've been dominant, even though they've cooled off. I mean, that's going to happen. It's a long, long season,
Of course,
and
yeah.
especially in August, the dog days of summer. So yeah, the Tigers, they're still up there. They're still really, really good. Great starting pitching, great bullpen. And yeah, the Tigers are still doing their thing.
Yeah, they're holding serve. That's it. Listen, they have the luxury to maybe not play as their best baseball right now, just because of how great they started. And the Guardians, like you said, they have key pieces on offense that make up for a lineup that's really not that great. But the guys they
It's kind
do
of top
have,
heavy.
yeah, Juan Ramirez, like those guys do
Mhm.
their thing to help that team score. Like, listen, they don't score a ton of runs, but they do enough, and their pitching is great. Their pitching is really, really good. I know they don't have Class A, but that bullpen is still. They got guys throwing bullets out of there. They got plenty of guys coming out of the bullpen, lefties, righties, three-quarter guys over the top. They have all different looks that they go out there and they give. And yeah, they always find a way to. They find a way. That's all you got to say. They find a way to go out
Especially
there and do
Gavin Williams. He gave your team troubles, the Mets.
yeah, I'm gonna trust me. In a little bit, you might want to hold your ears. That's all I gotta say. It's not gonna
Yeah.
be too good when I get it
But the
get to
Guardians
that.
overall, I mean, they're a team that if Jose Ramirez hits, they win. If he doesn't, they really struggle as a team
Yeah, we
overall.
saw that. We saw that when they were struggling. They could not score a run. It was pathetic. And
Hmm.
we'll see what they can do. But they're playing really good ball right now. And then we'll go into the AL West. Astros better look out. 62 and 52, but they only got a half game lead over the Mariners.
Oh
Astros are
no.
5-5 in their last 10. We talked about this before. The Mariners probably had one of the best deadlines of the year. They're 66 and 53, 9-1 in their last 10. They are a scary, scary team. They're on a win streak themselves. They swept the. Let's see, let's see how many games in a row here. Um, they swept the Rays, so that's 3. They swept the White Sox, that's 6. 7 they have a 7-game winning streak going on right now, the Mariners do, and they have the Orioles coming they're going to the Orioles for a series, starting tomorrow, so they can very easily keep extending that if they if they please to do so, but they're playing really, really good right now. Um, Texas at 60 and 59. They had a really, really good week and a half last week. Not so great. They're 6.5 out of first. They're in that kind of in the mix for the wild card, but they haven't been playing too great. Angels at 56 and
Mhm.
62. They're kind of similar to the Twins. They're really just kind of stuck in. I don't even know, like you're just being mid. They really can't go anywhere. 3-7 in their last 10. And then the A's. The A's are the A's, man. They're 53 and 67. They thought it was a bright idea to trade their closer that had 6 years of control. Good job, A's, and they're 6-4 in their last 10. But anything you got on the AL West here? I know there's one team in particular that catches everyone eye when you look at this division,
I mean, I think the AL West is basically a two-team race between the Mariners and the Houston Astros.
and it's gonna be a
Obviously,
pretty
the
damn
Houston
good one.
Astros, yeah, really good down the stretch. I mean, that's going to be a must-watch series, and hopefully, I mean, you got the Houston Astros. They continue to dominate like they have in years past. They got Carlos Correa now. Seemed like this just rejuvenated the offense.
Yeah,
And now with the Mariners, I mean not the Mariners, the Rangers. If if the Rangers get the offense together, they could potentially make a wild card spot. But who knows if they're ever gonna put the offense? I mean, if it's ever gonna come together because their pitching staff is legit. I mean, every time you watch them, they only giving up at most seems like 4 runs. They play a
yeah.
lot of 3-2 ball games, 2-1. I mean, if their offense gets cooking, gets gelling, I mean, that's a team that can get on the streak. But based on what happened all season long, it's not looking good for the Rangers in terms of making the playoffs.
Yeah, and I was gonna. That's what I was just gonna say. Do you personally think they can push for a wild card spot? Yeah. No, you don't feel that way.
I don't think they will.
I
I don't
just
think
feel
they
that
will.
I agree. I agree. I just feel that offense is just not consistent enough, like you said.
Correct.
Listen. They went on a when they went on their nice stretch. They were scoring a ton of runs, and now they're struggling again, and they just don't consistently hit, which is crazy because they have a pretty they have a pretty good lineup. If you look at the
Yeah,
names,
they do.
name value, they have a lot of quality guys in there, and they're not putting it together. But before we wrap up the American League here, let's go through the wild card and just overall standings. Toronto's at the number 1 seed, a game ahead of Detroit, who's number 2, and then the Astros are number 3. And then we got the Mariners in the first wild card. Like we said, only a half a game from the Astros, so they can very easily switch places. Red Sox in that second wild card at 65 and 54. And then the Yankees are right now in the final wild card at 62 and 56. And you get some teams to note here. Guardians, like we talked about, 61 and 56. They're only a half a game out. And then the Rangers, 60 and 59, 2.5 out. I know the Royals are 4 games out, but I don't really consider them anything. Rays are 5.5. Twins are 5.5. That's crazy. Angels 6 games, but I don't see those
That's
teams
not
making a
bad for the
push.
Angels.
Yeah, no, it's really not. But it's just that they're mid. Like they're not really. Listen, they'll
Mhm.
be in this boat of just not never getting anywhere. But yeah, I really only if you want to think about it this way, Guardians and Rangers are probably the only teams that really have a chance that aren't in that have a chance at making it. And the Rangers, we really don't see that going anywhere. And then yeah, the Yankees really, I mean, they should be able to get in the playoffs. If they don't, it's kind of upsetting. But the Tigers would take on the Yankees if the season ended today, and then the at oh, I'm sorry, that's not how that works. Uh,
Oh, thank goodness.
yeah, no, uh, potentially. Oh wow, it would actually not be in your favor. It would be the Astros versus the Yankees. My apologies.
Well,
Don't think of one.
I'd rather want the Tigers.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll see what happens with that one.
But they're both
But,
bad matchups overall.
yeah, 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 yeah. But that's if the Yankees stay in that, in that position. So we'll see what happens with that.
But
But
I think the American League is anybody's game this year.
yes,
I think it's
I
gonna come
agree.
down to who gets hot late.
I agree. I feel like it is better than last year, but it is wide open. There's plenty of teams that have a chance. Any of those teams that the 6 teams that are in, like the Yankees are the 6th team right now. If they can figure it out, they have a chance. Like they have a
Oh
chance of
yeah,
going all the way. They
the
do have a
talent's
chance.
there.
They have to figure it out. Like they're not maximizing the talent, and we'll see what they do. Red Sox are very intriguing because they're so young, but they're so talented. Blue Jays have listen. I know the Blue Jays are the best team in the American League. I just don't see them winning the whole thing. I don't see them getting to the World Series. Same with the Tigers. I feel like the top 2 teams in the American League are the 2 teams that I don't have much. I put out of those 6. I feel like I put the least amount of faith in those 2 to make the World Series out of
Ooh,
the rest. I know it's a bold statement, but that's
ooh.
how I feel. I really do feel that way. I would put the I
I
have
feel about the Blue Jays, but the Tigers, I feel like they got a legitimate shot.
I
You
just
know,
don't think that I just don't think their offense is that to get I don't think their offense can get them to that point. I feel like they're gonna run into like the good cream of the crop arms, and I just don't think they're gonna be able to score enough. I really don't
that's
think
true.
so.
But
I
at the
don't.
same time, they're most likely gonna get home field and it's a deep ballpark and it tailors to their great pitching staff that they have.
Yeah, that
So
is
that could
true.
potentially
That is
be a
true.
3-2 type of ball games all series long, depending on whoever they play.
Yeah, yeah. I could see it, but listen,
And
if
it's
I if
just
I
timely hitting from there.
I don't like the Yankees, but if the Yankees play them, I'm probably taking the Yankees to beat them. I just feel that way. Even
Well, I'm
right now,
taking the
even
Yankees
though
too.
right now the Yankees, even though right now the Yankees are playing some of the worst baseball in the league, I would still take
Mhm.
them. That's how much I don't I don't really buy into the Tigers. And then the Astros and the Mariners, right now I would probably put the most like confidence in those 2 to make it to the World Series. I feel like either one of those teams that would be a heck of a American League Championship Series. That would be a really, really good
I
playoff
would.
series if those 2 teams could play each other. And then, yeah, the Red Sox and the Yankees. We'll see what happens. But I would definitely expect some positioning, seating changes in the American League. I feel like
The
some
Red
teams.
Sox are a scary dark horse team. I would say that.
I know you've been saying. Listen, you've been saying that
Oh
for
yeah,
a while now. You've been saying that for a while. That's a team that you got to watch out for. And then
their confidence is through the roof.
yeah, listen, when you have a young group like that and they feel like they can go out there and beat anybody, that's the scariest team to look out for because they don't like they're not thinking of the years from now or years that have happened already.
Absolutely.
This is their group and they want to go, and do it. And then
They're not
let's
paying
do
attention to any opinions or any writers. They're just playing.
exactly. And then they're having a good time doing it. I'll tell you that. It seems like they have fun every night. Let's go to the National League here before I get upset, but the Phillies are in first place at 68 and 49. They're 7-3 in their last 10. They've won 3 in a row. They swept the Rangers. They played really, really good baseball to lately, and they've They've have a 5 game lead, 5.5 game lead over my Mets, who I'm going to absolutely rip into shreds in about a minute. They're 1-9 in their last 10 games. They've lost 7 in a row. Pathetic to say the least. Marlins at 57 and 61, 11 and a half out of first, 6 games out of the wild card. So I mean, they're still kind of in it, kind of. If you want to say the Marlins do have a chance. They have lost 3 in a row though. They got swept. Oh, not swept, but because they played a 5 game series against the Braves, but they did lose 4 out of 5 against Atlanta, who is 51 and 67. So the Braves, I say this every week. I feel like they're one of the most disappointing teams in all of the league this year. But
Yeah, I
they have
agree.
won 3 in a row, of course, just in time when they come and play the Mets, starting tomorrow night. And then the Nationals, 47 and 70. They are 21 out of first. They're done. They've been done probably since May. But any thoughts you got on the NL East here before I go on a tangent about the Mets?
Yeah. I mean, the Phillies got their great closer now in Durant. I mean, Phillies looking really good right now, playing really good baseball. Got Schwarber, he's just hitting home runs left and right. And Bryce Harper, he just lives for the postseason. So the Phillies, I feel like they're going to be a factor this year. They're going to be a factor in the playoffs. And you got the Mets, obviously. I mean, they might not make the playoffs at this rate, but who knows? If they can get in and get hot a little bit, who knows? Maybe they carry that momentum into a deep playoff run. But that's how I feel about the NL East overall.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of hit the nail on the head there. Phillies have their closer, who's never going to get a run scored against them in the ninth inning for the rest of the season. The Mets
Oh yeah,
have a
Phillies are 56-2 when they won it after 7 innings.
Yeah, I think you put a video about that on your account, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
that's crazy good. It's
Great.
lights out
That's
when they
lights
got a
out,
lead.
exactly. And that was part of before having the guy they have now. And now they got Durant in the back end.
Hmm.
Crazy. Um, but yeah, let's talk about the Mets. I've been trying to not get upset and aggravated over this, but this team. Listen, I understand you go through a season, you're gonna lose games, you're gonna have a rough time, you're gonna go through it, but it's baseball, like you always say, it's a long season. But the lack of effort is what really like that is what pisses me off. Like you know what I'm saying? Like they just look
Hmm.
like they look like they're showing up. Oh, we got a game today. All right, let's you know what? Let's just play our 9 innings and let's go back to the hotel room. Like I don't understand. I really don't get it. Like listen, the Brewers are good. The Mets blew two. They should have beaten them 2 out of 3. They should have beaten them 2 out of 3. They probably arguably could have swept them if you think about it, but they should have beaten them 2 out of 3. And they just left they left opportunities on the table. And going even before the Brewers, it's a 7 game losing streak. That's a week. You're losing games for a week straight. You want to be considered a playoff team? You want to be considered a World Series team? World Series teams don't do that. World Series teams
That's
have
true.
starters that pitch more than 4 goddamn innings every single start. Every single guy, I think, in the last week, besides Peterson, has not went more than like 5 1/3. That's not going to
Oof.
get you anywhere. That's not going to get you anywhere. Senga coming back from injury. I know we call him the ghost fork. I think his ghost has been left on the IL. I don't know what happened to this guy. I do not know
That's
where
okay.
Senga is. This Senga is not Senga. I don't know what has happened to him.
You think he got locked up in the closet?
The ghost, yep, it's locked up. The ghost is locked up in the closet. Maybe it's underneath someone's pool or something, hiding. The ghost is not here. I do not know what happened to him. He has been awful since the coming back. Um, believe it or not, the only game they have won in August was the one I went to, and he pitched terribly in that game too. He only pitched 4 innings. I don't think he's went more than 4 innings since he's come back.
Mm.
Mania looks like a shell of himself. He looks great, and then that last inning, whatever is the last inning of his outing, he gets absolutely rocked. I don't know what it is. His velo goes down every inning, so I don't have confidence in him right now. Frankie Montas, what a complete joke that guy is. He shouldn't even be in the league. He's awful. Oh, let's put Reed Garrett out there to start the game and bring in Montas so he can get more length into the game. Yeah, 3 innings, 72 pitches. CT, can you believe he said he thinks he did a good job the other night?
He
He thinks he
did.
did a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't even have words. You don't even have words for that because that's pathetic. That's a pathetic answer. I'm sorry, I got to rip into all these guys right now. It's atrocious. Clay
Well,
Holmes,
sometimes it's just a different coping mechanism.
Yeah, I don't even know at this point. Clay
Try
Holmes,
to
another
fake
one.
it.
Listen, I know Clay Holmes is not a starter, but I still don't think he's a starter. And he's trying his best. But that arm is probably cooked like you burnt a piece of bacon at this point. That elbow has to be cooked. There's no way it's not. He can't go
Yeah,
more
it
than
has
five
to be.
minutes. It
This
has
is
to be.
something he's never done before.
Yeah, he hit his career high in innings about a month ago, and he's still
Hmm.
got 2 months left. How's he going to do it? I don't know how he's going to do it. And their only reliable guy they got is Peterson. You can't put it all on him. He can't be the only guy that goes out there and gives them length every single time. You can't expect him to do it. You cannot expect him to do that. And he didn't even pitch great his last time out there. So this has been a revolving cycle of just bad starts. Bullpen comes in, bullpen is overworked. They're expected to get more outs than the starters every single night. The
Yeah.
lineup either starts out good in the game and doesn't do anything, or they start out bad and try to make up for it at the end. It's just a complete mess right now. This is the thing. All right, so I've been thinking about this. This lineup, to me, it might be one of the most overrated lineups in the history of baseball. It really might be.
Ooh.
I may be overreacting. And you know how much I
Okay.
love these four. You know how much I love those top four guys. You know that. You know that for a fact. You know how I like them.
Oh
Listen,
yeah.
Lindor is an MVP. Does not hit 240. An MVP just doesn't hit 240. He doesn't. An MVP doesn't make crucial errors. They don't do it. A
He's
potential
cooled off
captain.
offensively in the second half.
Yeah, I don't know how you start out so great and you just become that bad. Like, listen, an MVP is steady. They may not have the best moments every single night, but an MVP is steady. They don't go like this. They don't go like this. They don't. Soto, listen, has been okay. I know he has 28 home runs, but has done nothing with guys on base. Nothing. He hasn't hit a 3-run homer all year. He has not hit a 3-run homer all year. Like, how do you go a whole season not hitting that? Listen, his stats are.
Yeah.
If you take Juan Soto's name and put his stats on a board, you're gonna say, okay, that guy's having a good season. But for what he's making, you gotta do better than that. You gotta run produce better. You
He's
can't
not
have
having a
28
Juan
home runs.
Soto type of year. But yeah, it's still pretty good.
Yeah, listen, it's not what you signed up for. It's not a
Yeah.
28 home runs. If you're Juan Soto and you got 28 bombs, you got to have 80 RBIs, 85 RBIs right now. That's just my opinion on that. Alonso's been good for the most part. Nothing really to complain about with him. He's been steady. That's what I'm saying. He's been steady this year. Nimmo, I don't. He strikes out every at bat now. I think he forgot how to hit. He's another one. I think he just forgot how to hit. The All-Star break happened. Maybe he just like went somewhere else. I don't know. Maybe he's not. It's not Nimmo. It's his like doppelganger or something. I don't know. Nimmo's gone.
Went to
Um,
hibernation.
Senga's gone. Cedric Mullins sucks. I don't even know why they got him. He's like Tyrone Taylor from the left side. Same power. They don't hit.
I
So
think
center
they just
field.
got it for just defense.
Yeah, but they said they
Yeah.
needed another bat. There's no way they think he's the bat. And David Stearns
They
said, "Oh,
did.
yeah, that's what they said."
Nah,
So
I
I
mean, you
guess
take a look at his offensive numbers. You clearly see he's just really good defender. Whatever he can give you offensively, he gives you offensively.
yeah, and he hasn't really done much. I know he hit a home run yesterday, finally, but he hasn't really done much. And then third base, they still don't have a third baseman. I don't know what they're doing. They're playing Russian roulette at third base. You
What
can't
happened
make
to
it up.
Beatty?
Beatty sucks. I don't even get me started on him. I have never been a fan of him, but he does everything below average. He's a below average everything. He's just not good. Listen, he's not even playing. He's not even getting that much playing time. Why don't we just send them down and bring Acuna up? At least Acuna has. Well, Acuna doesn't have much value either, but at least he has a little more value than what Beatty provides. Beatty
Yeah, he
provides.
gives you upside.
Yeah, Vientos can't field. Might as well not even bring the glove to the. Don't even bring the glove to the yard. You got
He
nothing.
could DH though.
Yeah. But he's another one. He has no pop. He has no pop. No pop this year. Mauricio, I like. I like Mauricio, but he has no. He doesn't have the baseball IQ. I don't know if it's just because he's a young player, but he
That could
just
be
makes
it.
so many. He makes so many bonehead mistakes. Just throwing mistakes or his base running. CT, you want to think about some of the worst base runners in the history of baseball? He might be there.
I mean, really, I mean, you could just watch the Yankees bloopers and you could see a bunch of base
He would fit
running
right in with them. He would fit
errors.
right in with them. Let me tell you. And the last thing I do, listen, I like Mendoza as a manager, But the one thing I do want to say is, can we fire the boys up a little bit? Can we get them going? Like, can we light a fire under them? Like, where is it? Every single night you're gonna be like, he sounds like Boone. His version of Boone is, I know my guys are better than that, and Boone says it's right in front of us. It's the
Yeah,
same
he does that.
thing. Boone like slaps, it's right in front of us. Mendoza's like, oh, I know my guy. They know they're better than that. I know they're better than that. We're gonna do it. We're gonna pull out of it. We're gonna get better from this. I
I
haven't
think
seen it.
they just both naturally chill dudes. They're just calm and cool no matter what happens. Even
Yeah,
if you go 0-10 in your last 10 games.
listen, I understand that. It's a good thing to have that, but you gotta have the fire in you.
I
You
agree.
gotta maybe you gotta after yesterday's game, the way they lost that game 5-0 lead, you blow the game. You gotta go in there and let the guys hear it. That's how I feel. Listen, I know that's not for everybody, but someone could respond to that message in the locker
I
room.
I think that's what the Yankees need to do too. Someone in the clubhouse where it's Aaron Boone just somebody's got to fake a crash out moment. I mean, throw the bat, throw a Gatorade bottle, do
Yeah,
something. Yeah,
Boone loves getting
there should
thrown
be
out.
rumors about something being heated in the locker room.
Yeah,
That's what it should be.
Yes, yes. Boone loves getting thrown out of games. Bring that passion into the locker room. Take a box of baseballs and just throw them on the floor. Do
Hmm.
something. Like get the guys, get the guy. Let them know. I feel like both teams right now they're very very comfortable in their situation. They feel like I know some guys feel like they probably know that I'm gonna bat this spot. I'm gonna do this every single day. What does it matter what I do? I know I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna do this. They gotta be held like accountable at a certain level. Listen, I don't know if you caught the beginning of the episode, but I was talking about the Jets, and I feel like listen, I have no expectations for them, but I can say that just from watching one game of watching Aaron Glenn coach, he's not going to let you get away with anything, and I like that. I like a coach that's going to get on you for making a mistake.
He's
And
very
that doesn't mean
stern,
you
disciplined.
listen. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean you're going to win games, but it's going to show that you can't walk around and just think that nothing's wrong. That's how I feel about it. I just feel like they need a fire lit under them, and they need to figure it out quickly because the Mets are only up a game or a game and a half on the Reds, and that's gonna go away just like that, and the Mets are gonna be out of the playoffs. And this team is way too good to not be in the playoffs. That's how I feel about it. I
I
really
agree
feel
to
that
that.
way. But we'll see what happens.
I
They're
mean,
coming.
maybe the starting pitching concerns from the offseason could be catching up to them right now with
Yep,
the guys not performing how well they did in the first half and translating to the second half right now.
I agree. They wasted 17 million on Montas. You could have brought Severino back. Severino was good in the Mets uniform.
Oh
That's
yeah,
a guy that
Severino's really good.
yeah, he was a guy that he went out there. It didn't matter if you give up 6 runs or 2 runs. He got you through 6, 7 innings. He was able to do it. That's a guy that I feel is missing. Even Jose Quintana. Quintana was the guy that gave you innings. There wasn't if you want to go on the route of bargain shopping like David Stern's like doing in terms of the starting rotation, those are two guys that would have been better than what they have to doing right now. And they won't even bring up the prospects. At least the prospects cannot be worse than this. That's how I feel. They can't be worse than what they're Nolan McLean, Brandon Sproat. They can't be worse than this. They cannot be worse than what they're putting out there right now. They really can't. But let's move on before uh, we get to the wild card. We'll finish up the last two divisions here. NL Central Brewers 73 and 44, 9-game winning streak. I just don't understand. They just do everything right, but they're just not the most talented. They just do every single thing that right, and their pitching is great. They timely
Oh
hit.
yeah,
They bunt when they have to. They play outstanding defense. They have a recipe for a winning team. I wouldn't say win the World Series, but they do have a really good team.
they do. You cannot knock them out, man. I mean,
No,
everybody trying to put them in the coffin, but they forgot one thing. They forgot the nails, and they
yes,
are alive.
you're 100% right. It's so hard to beat them. Cubs at 67 and 50. They're 6 games out. At one point, that was 2 weeks ago when me and Biggie made our predictions for the Cubs vs. Brewers series. They were tied for first place. 2 weeks later, the Brewers have a 6-game lead, just like that.
Oh, they got walked down.
Just like that. I don't think the Cubs are going to do much in the playoffs either. They just have not been playing that great lately. Um, we'll see what happens with them. The Reds
They just
62
need
and
some magic. They need a little magic.
yeah, they need something to fire them up as well. Reds 62 and 57. They're 12 games out of first, 2-game winning streak. They're playing right now. I'm not sure what the score is, but they are playing right now. And actually, you know what? Let's check that. Let's check the Reds are losing 4-1 in the top of the ninth to the Phillies. Okay. But yeah, the Reds are right in the mix. They're playing good baseball lately. Cardinals 60-59. They're only 3.5 games out of the wild card, which we'll get to, but they're not really a team I would say is a threat. And then the Pirates 51-68. But anything you got on the NL Central here before we move on to the NL West?
Yeah, I mean that's going to be a really good division race between the Brewers and the Cubs. And the Brewers are right there now. They just find a way to win games. Don't hit a lot of home runs, but they do the little things right. They're fundamentally sound, and as you said, they have runners in scoring position. They just do whatever it takes to win games. And the Cubs, they cooled off offensively in the second half. I mean, there was numbers about guys different OPS, and it's basically a downhill trajectory in the second half.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty much that's what happened. The Brewers went up, the Cubs went down, and now you can see what has happened in that division. And then the NL West, the Dodgers still holding on for first place. They haven't really been playing that great over the past month or two, but they're at 68-50, 5-5 in their last 10. Padres 66-52. We know how great of a deadline they had. That bullpen is unhittable. I told Biggie last week they can pitch the bullpen from the third inning on in the playoffs. They're not going to give up a run. They're really
They
not.
might.
It's insane. And they already have good starters too, but that bullpen is outstanding. They're 2 games out of first. They're 7-3 in their last 10.
You better
They're
get a lead after 4 innings.
Yeah, you bet. Or else you're screwed. Or if you don't have the lead against the Padres after the fourth inning, it's over. They're not letting up the lead. It's insane what they got in that bullpen. And then the Giants at dead even 500, 9 games out of first. They lost their last two. The Giants haven't really gotten better. They also got rid of some guys, so they're kind of stuck in the middle a little bit. Diamondbacks at 57-61. They did have a better week, but they traded some guys. I said this last week. I feel like they could have traded some more than what they did. They left some guys on the roster that they probably could have shipped out. And then the Rockies at 30-87, most embarrassing team in probably the history, or one of the most embarrassing teams in the history of baseball. They're 37.5 out of first place. Great job in there in Colorado. They lost 7 in a row, so they're approaching 100 losses before you know it. But anything here on the NL West?
Well, as usual, the Dodgers look like they're about to win the NL West. I mean, I don't know how they do it every year, but they just figure out a way to win that NL West. Even though they don't got a lot of started pitching, I mean, due to them being on the IL, but either way, the Dodgers are the Dodgers. They got the star power, got some guys in the pen that figure out a way to help the offense and to help them win games overall. But overall, I think in the playoffs, the Padres are the scariest team in the National League. They're the team that you do not want to face.
I agree. Because they got the lineup. Listen, their lineup hasn't really scored as much as they should, but they still have a really good lineup. And the pitching, like we said, the bullpen is just going to be unhittable. It's very tough. And
I think
I
they're
know
going
you
to get
said the
going on
Dodgers.
lineup.
I know you said the Dodgers. The Dodgers have that division that they probably will have the division, but the Padres are definitely going to make them work for it more than they probably thought when the year
Yeah, they
started.
will.
Yeah, yeah. And then let's go through the wild card as the NL standings as like playoff positioning. Brewers, of course, number 1 seed. Phillies at number 2. Dodgers at number 3. But the Phillies are only up half a game, so they keep switching in and out. Cubs are occupying the first wild card. Padres in the number 2 wild card, and the Mets are have went from the 2nd seed to the last wild card, so they're now the 6th seed after this still losing streak that's going on. And we got the Reds only a game and a half out, and Cardinals 3.5. So the Cardinals have a chance. Giants are only 4 games out. They're at 500, so you never know. But I feel like in terms of this race, it's gonna be a 7-team race for 6 spots. So there's gonna be one team that doesn't make it, and hopefully it's not the Mets for my sake. But I can very easily see them fall out of it because they're just not playing. They're not playing up to par. But yeah, any last thoughts on here before I let you go, CT, about in terms of just the MLB as a whole? You got anything?
Yeah, I mean, the National League is very deep. The only concerns with the Dodgers is just the overall bullpen. I mean, they've been used a lot. I mean, I think it's up there among the most used in baseball. I mean, that bullpen's getting used a lot, and that could be a concern in the postseason for them. Just getting overall just too tired down there. other than that, man, I mean, I think it's gonna be a really, really good playoffs.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. Of course, you'll be back on before you know it, just to talk some more baseball. But I thought it would be nice to have you on. I was doing it solo. I was like, you know what? Let's reach out to CT. I cannot talk this whole time by myself. And you always provide some good analysis on the game as a whole. Not even just because it's the Yankee, like your Yankees, but just as a whole. You do a good job, and we appreciate that. But
Thank you.
thanks again, CT, for coming on. And see ya. We'll see you and talk to you soon. But and your Yankees are winning, so go enjoy those last couple innings of
They
the
are, baby.
Yankees game. Let's see if they make the same mistake and put Devin Williams in again. Let's see what they do.
They might tonight. Who knows?
But all right, CT, have a good one, man.
All right, you too. I hope the Cubs make the playoffs too in the National League. It's the fun,
Okay.
exciting offense they got.
Yeah, let's watch out for the Cubs, 100% for
Hmm.
sure. All right, CT. See you. Of
All right, thank you. See ya.
course. Thanks for coming on. We got CT. Thanks for coming on once again. And yeah, before we wrap this one up, we'll do a pick'em segment. So I'm at 6-4. Biggie's at 4-6. So we have won two in a row. We did win last week as well, like we said. We got the Astros W under our belts. That's a nice win that we got. And another baseball week coming up because we got a ton of college football and NFL coming very, very, very soon. So that's huge to think about in the future. But we do definitely have to talk about some baseball and pick some baseball games probably for another week or two, I would say, and then we'll go from there. But the game we'll go to is tomorrow night, Blue Jays versus Cubs. Cubs have been alternating wins and losses. I got here for a little bit. They're 5-5 in the last 10, like I said before. So I'm gonna think they're gonna keep that trend up, and they did lose their last game. So I think the Cubs will come out with the win tomorrow. The pitching matchup definitely favors Toronto, but I do feel like the Cubs have, like CT said, they have a really, really good offense. So I think that that'll be big for them. So the Cubs will pick up the win, and the Blue Jays won't. But Biggie's going with the Blue Jays, so we have a little bit of a difference of opinion here that we haven't had in a few weeks. So that's big. That could be a huge swing because if I lose, I'll go to 6-5. Biggie would be only one game back, and if I win, I'm going to go up 3 games. So that's a big, big swing. And for his sake, he's got to get this win if he wants to get close into the coming into the playoff playoff. I'm sorry, football push. But but yeah, I just want to thank everyone for watching. A little bit of a different episode, but me and Biggie will be back next week. Not Monday; it'll be a different day. We'll figure that one out as we go. But thank you for everyone for tuning in to episode 58. Just go out there, follow us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok, subscribe to the YouTube, leave comments wherever and whenever, whatever you guys want to do. But yeah, reels will be up, of course, throughout the entire week. But thanks to everyone for watching and just supporting us as a whole. We're improving every week, but that's all we can ask for. Improve on the views, improve on the likes, and all that good stuff, and we'll go from there. But I want to thank everyone for watching, and yeah, that'll be it. Yeah, thanks. See you guys.